What does the first female serial killer in Korea look like? As most of the suspects of the cases I've covered are males, you'd be surprised of how Korea's first female serial killer was able to do her evil deeds without even touching the victims. She was also one of the last and rare females to be sentenced to death in the country. Her story will be the definition of a cold-blooded killer. For this person to be named the first, I feel like it happened more recently. Like, you would imagine this would happen in like the 1800s or something, but no, this happened in more of the modern times. The Pretty Face Psycho, a crazy case that I've covered, she was another female serial killer. I think that's the only female serial killers that I've actually covered in Korea. And as you guys could see, I have a new background. I just moved to a new place. I feel like a new person. I feel just so much better doing these YouTube videos. And with the timing of moving into a new place, I was gifted something that I've always wanted. I was gifted the Lomi, you guys. This is something that I've wanted for so long. And I cannot believe Lomi wanted to partner up with me, you guys. Lomi is where you could turn your food waste into nutrition-rich dirt that you can use for your indoor pots. Lomi breaks down waste using heat, abrasion, and oxygen. You just fill your food scraps, let the Lomi do their magic, and then reclaim the dirt. And no more stinky food in your garbage. You can reduce your garbage footprints by more than 50%. Not only food waste, but you could put in compostable packaging and Lomi approved bioplastics. The fact that we can turn food waste into something that is so great for the environment, I am mind blown about this. I feel like every single person should have this in their home, and this is the new future technology that we will all have, just like appliances in our home, like refrigerators. It is truly a product that you will love for years and that your whole family love as well. Again, if you want to check out this amazing products out, there's a link in the description box, and thank you so much to Lomi for today's partnership. It's October 31st, 1986. It's Halloween Day, but it was not celebrated at the time in Korea. Still thought it was a very interesting date. Hwan has a friend who asked her to go to the sauna with her, and they were both in their late 40s. At late at night, around 10 p.m., jjimjilbang or Korean saunas are the most casual, relaxing place that you can go and spend your time. It's known to be like a bonding experience with your friends or bros. So it's a very positive place to go with people that you care about and love or want to get to know. The two women went to relax, sweat out their bodies, took a shower, and had a great friendship girls' night. The two women go to the locker rooms to get ready to leave when her friend takes out sangwacha, or a popular Korean medicinal drink, and hands it over to Hwan. Her friend says, you know, it's very important to rehydrate after we've been sweating. Take this medicinal drink that I bought. I got this just for you, and it's gonna be so great for your body. She seemed to be a really great friend, and Hwan goes ahead and drinks the beverage. Because this is a medicinal healthy drink, it's bitter on its own. Her friend starts chatting with Hwan about how beautiful her skin is after sweating and how healthy she looks. Very quickly, Hwan starts to notice pain in her abdomen and she couldn't breathe. She starts to gasp for air and goes into what almost looks like a seizure and starts foaming in her mouth. She collapses, they call the hospital, and in the hospital, she is suddenly pronounced dead. Miss Hwan, who was 49 years old, leaves behind her family, and they say that she was healthy and cannot believe that this happened to her. Police tried to investigate, and the only suspicious thing that they noticed was her jewelry was missing from her locker. And again, police couldn't find any evidence or suspicions on why Miss Hwan died, so they closed the case. This was back actually in the 80s, so how police investigations were a little different. The family decided to not do an autopsy because especially back then in Korea, and still now, autopsies are and still kind of is taboo. It's not something that family members want to do to put their deceased family member through. It's like killing them twice. It's April 4th, 1987. 50-year-old Miss Soon was asked by her friend to come with her to get some money. Now this friend actually owed Miss Soon around $6,000. Soon was kind of waiting a while for her friend to pay back, and because because her friend said, hey, I'm receiving some money today from someone owes me. We'll go there together, get the money, and I'll give it to you right away. So obviously Miss Soon, who's receiving the money, said yes. The two are riding the bus and chatting, and the friend always brings up something nice to talk about. She has a very bright and kind personality from what it seems. On the way, the friend offers Miss Soon a drink, thanking her for letting her borrow the money and having a small talk, and thought that this was the least she could do to offer her a healthy drink. Miss Soon, of course, being offered a drink by her friend, drinks it, and soon she starts to have trouble breathing, her stomach having the worst cramps she has ever felt. Again, seizure-like symptoms with foaming in the mouth, then suddenly collapsed. The witnesses remember that the victim was kind of shouting, "The drink tastes funny. I think there's something in my drink," and then she collapsed. She was sent to the hospital, and unfortunately, Miss Soon also was pronounced dead. Again, autopsies being taboo, the family decided not to pursue it, and so the case seemed to be cold. It's now February 10th, 1988. A friend asked her friend B to come with her to get some money. So the same scenario, a friend saying that she has someone that owes money to her, who owes money to friend B, so she was gonna get that money and pay back to her friend. Now this lady owed friend B about $1,000 and promised that she'd repay her ASAP if she just came with her. I mean, not gonna lie, I would too. You know, if someone owes you money and they were like, hey, I'm gonna go get some money, I'll give it to you right away at the spot, I would totally come with her too. So the two friends go to the town of Shinsadong and they go to some building and waits outside. Now when they get there, friend A says, oh my god, he was supposed to be here. Why is he not showing up? I'm so angry. I guess he pulled a fast one or whatever, and the two friends decide to go home. So friend A promised to make things right, and on the taxi back home, she offers her friend B a drink. She says, I'm sorry, like he was supposed to show up. Take this drink, you seem tired, like I promised to pay you back. Of course, she takes the drink from her friend, takes a little sip, and she soon starts to feel ill. That's when friend A suggests to her friend B, drink more. Oh my god, you should drink this. It's gonna make you feel better. Are you okay? Now, friend B starts to get a little suspicious and tells the taxi to stop, and they get off, and she just tells friend A, I'm gonna go home. You go by yourself, and she just left, feeling a little suspicious about this drink that she was given. Surprisingly, friend B recovers, and a little while later, friend A comes back to her house asking if she's okay. Hey, I have the money, $1,000 that I owe you, and she gives the money. She seems like she's really worried about you, and your suspicions kind of go away because she paid you back. It's March 1988. And an elderly man, 73 years old, decides to go visit some family with his daughter. And while returning from this trip on the bus, his daughter offers him a nice medicinal drink for him to boost in his energy since he's old and they're on the bus. It was a long trip, and of course it's your daughter offering you a drink, so you take it and you take a sip. As expected, same symptoms: foaming in the mouth, vomiting. He drops to the floor and he's pronounced dead at the hospital. This time, this elderly man's family requested for him to be cremated immediately. The hospital declared that this was probably a heart attack due to his elderly age, and the case was closed. Police did notice by this time there's so many people dropping after drinking something, but they could not connect the dots yet because they had no solid proof or evidence. It's April 1988, and 46-year-old C has an older sister. They decide to meet up and they discuss about the money and family, and a family tragedy that happened to them, and they waited for the bus. And while they were waiting, C's older sister offers her a drink. Now they were talking about money because the older sister owed C a lot of money, caring about her younger sister. You know, I care about you. Hey, have this drink. And this older sister made sure at the bus stop that she would drink it right on the spot. And again, this lady, the younger sister, starts vomiting, foaming in the mouth. She is just going crazy and drops to the floor. While everybody else is freaking out in the bus that someone dropped to the floor with foaming in their mouth, the person that was next to her seemed unusually calm. She was sent to the hospital and again pronounced dead. Again, somehow this lady's death was ruled as a natural cause. Finally, it's August 1988. Miss Hon has a relative, or her sister-in-law. Her sister-in-law has been calling her for days and days, telling her that, oh my god, there's a house that I really want and I am short of $4,804. Specifically 484, remember that. So Miss Hon, having a sister-in-law that promised her, hey, if this house goes up in value, I'll give you some cut of it. Just help me out with this short 484 number. Thinking that this was a great idea, the two decided to meet up at a cafe, and Miss Hon handed over to her sister-in-law a check for 484. For some reason, even though they were drinking coffee, her sister-in-law offers her a drink. A healthy drink for her sister-in-law, thanking her for the money. On the spot, the sister-in-law made sure that she drank it. As predicted, on the way home, Miss Hon collapses and dies on the bus. Husband of Miss Hon was devastated because Miss Hon was very healthy. She never had any health concerns. But this time, the police was actually able to convince the husband to perform an autopsy because the police knew there was something going on here. The family agreed to this hard autopsy, and what they found was that in her organs, they found potassium cyanide. The police knew right away that this lady had been poisoned. And he remembered that Miss Hon did lend someone a lot of money. And this family member or sister-in-law was named Miss Kim Sunja. So who was Miss Kim that was always around the people that mysteriously died? Kim Sunja was a normal housewife in her late 40s, and she had 3 kids and a husband. She was married. She was known around the neighborhood as the kind, bright woman. Normal. There's nothing about her that stands out really. She was a full-time housewife, which was very common back then, but I guess her life started to get a little bit bored, and her whole family and her kids had to rely on her husband's paycheck. Her husband was a painter, so you could guess, it's not like there was a lot of money in the house, especially something that Miss Kim just wanted to do on her own. But for those who actually really knew Miss Kim, they say that she was flashy. She cared a lot about her hair, nail, jewelry, clothes. Her outer appearance seemed to be very, very important to her. Not only that, but she loved to have fun. She loved to go to the entertainment bars, nightclubs, and even got hooked on gambling. Now, I covered a story called The Pretty Face Psycho, another female serial killer, which shocked a lot of viewers because she was young, she was pretty, again, she was really into her outer appearance and money and bags. But sometimes people are like, you kind of sort of expect that from a younger person because they're obsessed with their outer appearance. They want attention and they sometimes meet the wrong people or whatever, and their life spirals out of control. But for Miss Kim, she was older, she was already kind of established in her family. You would think that she would know better. You would think that something like this would start early, but it didn't. It happened to her later in life. So what are the common factors? The common factor was that Miss Kim was actually present in all of these mysterious deaths. Yes, she was the friend who called her friend to go to the sauna. She was the friend that rode on the bus to get some money and promised to pay back her friends. She was the daughter that gave the drink to the elderly man. And she was the older sister of that younger person. And she was the person that gave the drink to her friend in the taxi that surprisingly actually survived. She was present in all of them. I mean, what is the likelihood that most of the people that come into contact with this lady dies? Another common factor that the police found was that to all these people, Miss Kim borrowed money. So she had a lot of money that she borrowed and owed to all these people minus her father, because we don't know the true story about that. And for example, the 484 number to her sister-in-law. Police believe that this was an example of a psychological trick that she used, like a specific number so that the person feels like they're being genuine and that they genuinely have like a reason to spend this money on a house, as they said. And it just seems like they know what they're doing and like they're really in a hurry and that you'll help them out. Another crazy creepy trick that she used was that the taxi friend that survived the whole thing, she went back to apologize. That taxi friend was the only one that Miss Kim decided to pay back because she knew that she was under suspicion, which allowed the friend to relieve any suspicions under Miss Kim. So she had this all planned out. And another common factor was that in all of them, she used her special medicinal drink. Now this drink was pre-packaged, something that you could get at the common store. So she would open it in front of them, making it seem like it was a new drink so the person wouldn't have any suspicions. And the false pretense and the act that she was giving someone a health drink also masked her real intentions. She wanted money for herself without working for it and to never pay it back because she spent it all. She spent it all on jewelry, on her bags, on gambling. Now, police knew that she had something to do with it, but they needed evidence and they decided to interrogate her. And when she came in, she was loud. She was screaming, they say. She absolutely denied all accusations, telling the police to bring any evidences and prove it to her. Now, the police actually were able to convince all of the family members that mysteriously died, and they were able to do the autopsies. But the only person they couldn't do was Kim's own father because she had him cremated. Now, this led police to believe that did she cremate her father on purpose so that they cannot find any evidence at one point if she was caught, which is savage, that you would do this to your own father. So eventually all of the autopsies showed that yes, there was psi inside of the organs of all these victims. That was not enough and police needed to find hard physical evidence. So they went to Kim's residence and she was living in kind of like an older house at this time. So when they raided Kim's house, she was angry. She was yelling and screaming at the police, and it was hard for them to do a job because a lady like this that goes crazy whenever she's under suspicion, you know something is up. What police found was all these missing jewelries from the people that mysteriously died. Jewelry from her own sister the day that she passed away. Jewelry from the sauna woman that mysteriously died. They also found a check from Son, her sister-in-law, for the house deposit, which this money was deposited under Miss Kim's account. But this was not enough. They did not find any psi, any poison that might be in her house. And right before police was about to leave the house, one of the female officers had to use the bathroom really bad. This female officer says that she just ran to this outdoor bathroom that Miss Kim had, and while she was doing her deeds, she saw a little bit of a crack opening inside of this wooden bathroom. She stuck her fingers and popped something out, which later we will find out was the actual psi that she used. This was a little powder patch that she would put into her little drinks, pretend that it's new, open it in front of her victims, have them drink it in front of her so she has confirmation, and that's how she went about to kill the victims without touching them. The fact that she would pick these healthy drinks because they have a strong taste to begin with, to trick her victims and to trick her victims into thinking that she was doing this for their own benefit, gives you into a look of what kind of person she was. She had no empathy. She had no sympathy. She just pretended all this time to fall into her traps. How savage and scary is that? Like, you can't trust anybody. I mean, she did this to her own father and her own sister. Her own sister, younger sister, died, and on the day that she passed away, Miss Kim literally stole her bag, which had some cash and jewelry that belonged to her. Like, she literally took her friends all the way to whatever building, a different town, and waited for this fake loner that owed her money and took them on a bus or a taxi to literally kill them in front of the public so that it made her not suspicious. Like, she thought about all of this. And another creepy thing that, again, people noticed was that younger sister who dropped dead and that the person next to her seemed bloody cold. And the witnesses were surprised to find out that this person was her own sister. She has absolute no care and soul for other beings. When she was presented with all these evidences, Miss Kim did confess, and her entire motive was for money. She borrowed, spent the money, and kill the victims so she doesn't ever have to pay them back. She was convicted of only 5 people, as 1 survived and 1 was her father, whom they could not prove because he was cremated. And in 1989, as the court saw that she was dangerous to the public and she had no empathy, she was sentenced to death, where in 1997, just before the temporary stop of death sentences in Korea, she and 22 others were among the last ones to receive the maximum punishment. I think it's even more scary the fact that, number one, she did this to people had no grudge against her. She only borrowed money from these people. It's not like they had beef or they had drama. Number 4, she did this to her own family member. Her father, why she did this, no one knows. The fact that you don't want to pay back your sister money, so she had to kill her. I'm sure if Miss Kim was evaluated, she would have been somewhere around the psychopaths, as a lot of psychopaths seem very charming and confident and seem very normal on the outside. That's why she was able to have all these people help her out, and they thought that she was super normal and kind person, and their narcissism is like to the max, but you can't see it. That's a scary part. None of these people, including her own family members, saw this. Let me know what you guys have thought about today's story. Hitting the like button always helps me out so much, and check out today's partnership, Lomi, and if you have any case suggestions, email me right there. See you guys in my next video. Stay safe.